Welcome to Jaded and Faded Convos. I am your host, Jaded Pearl, and I got some shit to say. So, we are in episode 2 of season 2. So, to catch up, please make sure you subscribe. And if you're watching on YouTube, definitely subscribe there. And if you hear me on Spotify, make sure you follow Jaded and Faded Convos on there as well. So, this episode, I'm gonna tell you right now, I be smiling way more now because of the information that I have to get out of my body when it comes to the stories that I have to share with you from these experiences that I've had, and ultimately going back to my original reason for doing any of this when it comes to Jaded and Faded is bringing awareness, some tidbits for people to pay attention to, what to look for when it comes to dealing with certain situations and people, because I've had to do it. And I know there's somebody who's also done it, who's in the middle of doing it, and somebody who will encounter these types of situations, especially when it comes to the dance community and just business overall. And, in your personal life as well, too, because those things, of course, can intermingle as well. So, when it comes to this particular episode, oh Lord, I'm gonna try my best to not be all over the place. And I say it from a perspective of there's just so much. There's just so much when it comes to community. That word community of a place where you have some communities that are really great. They Someone came up with this awesome idea and decided, hey, I want to build this community with other people who are like-minded, that are in the same field that I'm in, that want to do this for a great cause. We want to make some really awesome connections and build and expand, right? And it grows to something amazing. And for the most part, for the people that are involved, it continues to be great and still is for however long of time frame that's been doing so. Then you got some that may start off, this whole glitz and glamour of, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this and we're gonna make this happen and da 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 da. And I'm talking about talk a good ass game. Only to get into the shit and find out we can't even get off the ground good because you on that bullshit when it comes down to this set community when it's just, you know, covered up in chaos. But you're trying to say, of course, that you for the girls, or you're for, the guys for that matter, or you're for whatever scope of people that's within this range that you're trying to build on. When in actuality, you just want to be that person that just says, "Oh, I was the first one to do it," but you ain't got no foundation, you ain't got no rapport building, you don't have nothing but a house that you're trying to build with a crumbling fucking foundation. So let's get into the shit. The topic, though. This topic, I'm not gonna lie. This one, because it is a collective of stuff that I've experienced. I really was trying to kind of figure out what's gonna be the exact title for this, and I think I'm gonna go with every opportunity is not gold. I have had my share of experience with these organizations. I've even been a part of a blog talk radio some years ago. Um, these various organizations, previous pole studios. One point I was a part of a goddamn spiritual sorority that I don't speak about for the main reason that it was just a terrible fucking situation to be in, that ended up low key but high key being a freaking cult for real. Um, for the gain of the founders, come to find out, which is crazy as shit. Part of a curvy stripper organization that I don't even think lasts 6 fucking months. And other situations where the collective group of everybody was that they had this big talk to me, whether I had a rapport with them prior or they just happened to see me like, hey, you want to be a part of this thing I'm trying to create? And I'm like, okay, sure. Not realizing that I need to do vetting, of course. Some of it was because I was young and just want to be a part of shit. The rest of it was I really believed in what they were saying. I really believe in this mission that they had for whatever this grand idea was that was going to be amazing. And the issue is 9 times out of 10, the idea was not the problem. It was the person behind the idea. It was the lack of retention from a place of the people that you want to be a part of your shit. And you said all these things and you came with all these grandeur ideas and expansiveness of like, oh, we're going to do this and make this happen and all this shit. But you did nothing to retain these same set people that you wanted to be a part of your organization so bad and you just fumbled the fuck out of them. Very, very, very common thing. And what I've realized is you have a lot of people that want to play leader, that want to play visionary, but ain't never led a goddamn thing. And the only vision they really have is barely the 2 eyeballs they have. So it's just an ego trip. It's a smoking mirrors situation going about. So being the person that I am, and how I always love to give y'all these story time, and then of course what I learned from said situations and what my conclusions would be to help anyone who was possibly watching this. So, one thing that proximity will do is tell you the truth about a person before the person tells you the truth about them. Meaning, you can say know a person just, in passing. And y'all not necessarily the closest or anything like that. Or you might be. It might be one of your ace spoon cones for real. And they have this idea to create some type of clubhouse or some type of you got to be, of course, this type of person to sit with us type situation, whatever the case may be. And they talk a good game about, what it's about and what it's going to do and how they're going to have these people involved. And they really want you to be a part of this said thing. And you take it on as an honor, like, hey, I think they see value in me. I think they see me as a person that would be a really great asset to this said organization and where it could go from there. So you decide, hey, I want to put my efforts into this for whatever capacity that I need to put them in. Then, start making some strides and such. Then you start noticing how the organizer has this bad problem with a variety of things, but I could just name a few. They let their personal seep into their business, meaning you crossing things that should be very much separate. And now you're running into how you communicate with people or a lack thereof, how you make these business decisions and it doesn't go well, and everyone else has to take the fall for your mistakes. Or you have an ulterior motive, but somehow you're trying to appear as if, oh no, that's not what's happening, and it's a whole gaslighting situation going on. So, first story was around 2011. I was online like I usually do, and I saw this post on, I want to say it was on either Tagged or Downlink. If you know when it comes to Downlink. Okay. So I believe that's where I saw this post. And it was like when they would have like in the chats back then and the little forums where, like, hey, I'm having, of course, a Blog Talk Radio. If you like to, of course, apply to be a host, send me an inbox or DM, whatever the case may be at the time, whatever verbiage was used in that way of contacting someone. And I looked into it. Was like, oh, this looks like fun. Okay, I want to, see about being a part of that. So I end up hitting up the organizer, the creator of it, and we talked and whatnot. And I was like, look, don't have any experience in it, but I don't mind being able to try to like talk it up with folks and try to get people on and do that. Like I was really willing to like make it happen and just like get that experience in when it comes to blog talking. And at the time, how you had the blog talk radios was pretty much like your podcasting, but you didn't see nobody's face. So you would call into a number, and because it was online, you would click on a link and call into it, and then you could just hear them talk about whatever it is pertaining to, like much the shit that they used to do back in the day when it came to like radios and stuff, right? Before everything was a visual thing. And so the person, they said, they want to put me on, and then it was two other people. Their names was Nico, and it was another one. Her name was Jessica. And they, I think, come from different parts of the states. Because I know the owner was based in Florida. I think Nico was in Georgia, actually. And then Jessica, I can't remember where she was from. But it was these different people I knew nothing about, had no prior or anything. But because of the organizer, she wanted all of us to be the people that did the talking on the Blog Talk Radio. I forgot the name, what she called that bitch. But something about Double D Erotica. I think that's what it was called. Do not quote me, but I'm almost sure that's what it was called. Because the D for sure stand for their first name, which I believe was Dion. Yeah, the fact that I remember that shit is crazy because it's been that long. So I remember it was interesting because she wanted to be able to create the Blog Talk Radio, but herself, she wasn't necessarily doing any talking herself. She wanted people to be able to basically be the forefront for her. And I thought it was kind of weird. I was just like, I mean, people do it all the time. They'll have an idea, but they just want to push other people to, run the idea to come to life, essentially. So, again, I'm young. So I'm just like, okay, cool, whatever. So what ended up happening was, at the time, I was the only one that was on board before the new people came, as far as the two other additional people. And I remember the first night, she wanted me to go ahead and do the first episode. And keep in mind, I don't have no script. I don't have no exact topic per se. I think it was some stuff I probably was coming up on my own for real. And I happened to kind of wing it, so to speak. But the thing was, when I went live, because it was, we advertised for it and that was at nighttime and everything on Sundays, I went on under the assumption that she would have been on there with me, only to be in a situation where I was by myself. So it was kind of like, am I supposed to be doing this by myself? I don't know. I feel kind of weird. End up winging the shit. I ended up, having conversations and was like, hey, you want to be able to call in and talk and, talk about whatever subject I've had at that mind. Keep in mind, don't know what the fuck I was talking about, but I was like, well, the show must go on and that whole thing. And that was my first experience with it. Then that was on a Sunday. During the week, though, I'm having conversations with her about like, hey, what do you want me to do? How you want to go about doing the next episodes? And, what's it like? And like, are you ever going to be on the show with me? It's like, no, I'm not going to really do that or anything. I kind of really just want you to kind of like, have conversations as at the third. And I'm like, okay, I guess so, whatever. Again, not realizing like maybe there's a reason behind this type shit. But anyway, eventually she does get other people, the other two people. Now, this is where I said about the personal mixing with business that has nothing to do with the two. So he had a girlfriend who was like an ex. But the way that she was an ex, it was like she was still around, but she wasn't around. And it was affecting D so bad that she's calling me late at night to vent about this girlfriend. Keep in mind, I have never seen this lady in person to this day. I've never seen this lady in person. The girlfriend she was talking about, I've never seen in fucking person. And you're calling a complete stranger to fucking trauma dump before trauma dumping was a thing. And talk about this girl because of what she's doing and not doing, and in this case is not doing you for whatever reason. And I'm just like, I'm just here to just do radio shit. This personal stuff ain't got nothing to do with me. And while drunk, by the way, while she's having these conversations and shit. To the point where it got to a place where I'm like, yeah, I think I'm going to try to avoid hearing this lady at night, because if it ain't got nothing to do with the Blog Talk Radio, I don't care. So it was really one of those types of dynamics. And then the other people got on, and it started being pretty cool. Like, okay, cool. Now more traction's kind of picking up. More people are kind of calling in and listening to it. And you see the chat going. And then it was a whole group chat that we were on Facebook, to bring more awareness to people of what it is that we are doing when it comes to the Blog Talk Radio and just talking in general. So it was a whole fucking thing. Whole thing to the point where you start being friends with people that you find out they were friends with other folks that you know, and certain secrets start showing up and showing out from folks that you didn't ask that shit for. Just mess that has nothing to do with you, for real, because you again have never met these people before, but because you know folks that they know in person somehow, close, small world when it comes to, of course, to the gay community, as we know. And just stuff just starts like showing up in, people's information and shit. That's why I'm always gonna be that person that sits back and watch. I mean, you're never gonna see me be that person that's the loudest person talking in the room. But pay attention to the person who's talking the loudest and realize they ain't saying shit, but they also be telling on themselves. Okay? So I don't even think it was that long. It probably wasn't even 3 months. I'll say I'll say about 3 months. Before I happened to do, what was it called? I was doing shout outs. For a particular company or street team at the time, just because. And again, it wasn't like you would give me scripts to follow on. So I decided, hey, I'm just going to do this and kind of wing it on my own. To only, after the fact, be told by the creator, hey, don't do, advertisements and things such like that. I was like, okay, my bad, I guess. But you never told me I couldn't, but whatever. Especially when you have me winging this shit and you still have not given me no proper fucking direction on how to do any of this stuff. I'm really just kind of making this up as I go. But, whatever. So another situation happened where one of the, I guess you could say one of the hosts along with me, she had a situation, I think it was medical, that was taking place, and she was unable to be at the next episode that we were having at this time. And that then prompted in Dion's mind that she wanted to get rid of her. Now, of course, I didn't know the full story, but when she told me herself that she's going to get rid of her, I was like, I don't think that's just cause to do that, because the lady really has, of course, a medical issue. She explained, of course, that she has medical issues, and you just gonna drop her like that. I think that's really fucked up. Only, I guess, because I voiced my opinion about that shit. Because hell, you telling me about it, so I'm gonna say something. Like, what the fuck? So I guess because she didn't like the fact that I didn't agree with her, after I did that last episode, the very next day, myself, the person that she wanted to get rid of anyway, and the third person who didn't have anything necessarily to do with the matter, but I'm pretty sure there was some rift taking place. Maybe she was trying to fuck and she was like, nah, you can't do this shit. And she got mad because you can't have your fucking way. I don't know. End up, we getting kicked out the chat. only to hear outside of the chat how, you know, no three monkeys is gonna stop this show, and how we ain't shit and this, that, and the third. And it's all types of shit. Also, wow, people who knew that they done told me a whole lot of shit about their personal business and they marriage and how it ain't so fucking happy, and how they done, you know, had relations with certain people and such and whatnot. Not to mention people sharing straps and all types of little outlandish shit that nobody was ever supposed to know. Now I know about it, so a bitch gonna fucking tell folks. And I did. That's why I say I think now before I be doing shit. Because I don't be giving a fuck when I'm pissed off. And it was just like, I was offended because I felt like I could not defend myself in a situation where you had me fucked up over the fact that you could not have a constructive conversation with me, which you shouldn't have had, but you couldn't have a constructive conversation and understand that somebody may have felt some way opposite of how you felt, but to not move off of emotion like that. That's where, you know, I had to realize like people really do fuck shit and think that is warranted. And that, in my opinion, is, at that point, is it crack? Is it crack? I'm just gonna assume it's crack. Hence the stuff the other stories I have, I thought it was crack with those situations too. So that was my first time having an experience with Blog Talk Radio. I liked it. I hate that, of course, it did go the way it did, but I'm like, man, fuck that. That certainly was not something I needed to be a part of. And then I think it did not last that much longer as well. It may have lasted maybe like a year or two or so after that, but after that, I ain't see nothing. So, oh well. So that was that. Then over time, uh, just like most Americans in the last 30, 40 years, I did my stint with MLMs. Won't do this shit no more. I had to learn my lesson, but I've done a number. 5 links was first. Wake Up Now. Oh Jesus. MCA. I think It Works. Of course, Forex. You know, the shout out to people who, you know, still do some form of goddamn Forex. Just I couldn't do the MLM shit though. But yeah, did all of those things, and that also was another one where, yeah, you try to build up motherfuckers, but when you get them in, you forget about their ass quick as soon as you can, you know, made your quota and whatnot. So that definitely, of course, was a doozy for sure. The major one for sure was 2019 when it came to the sorority that I was a part of, that I had no business even fucking with at all. Because again, sounds fun. It's different. It's in a spiritual world, and you know, we of course connect and then do of course our magic and da 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 da, and only to find out, yeah, bitch, y'all was trying to sacrifice a hoe for real, for real. That was, yeah, and not just me. It was everybody that was involved, especially on the front line, and anyone else that would come along with it. And you again, you thinking that all these people that I don't understand is you think that all these people that have all these smarts and this wit and of course it's wisdom and all these different things, you think that they would not be able to see the bullshit and see through it all because of what you just told them, and they just supposed to just take that off of just face value versus the things that they were seeing from the spiritual realm. Yeah, that was a little scary at that time, but that was definitely, of course, another one for sure. Then the next one was, I'll say the word, Thickendales. That one had the potential to really be amazing. Shout out to Fee. She know who she is. And shout out to Carol. She absolutely know who she is. When it comes to what that could have been, because that was supposed to be the first, for sure, BBW stripper club, like legit type shit, based in Georgia, based in Atlanta specifically, or Douglasville for that matter. And the organizer was literally trying to like recruit motherfuckers to be on when it came to the direction that he said he was trying to go in. And talked a good game. Talked a good game when it came to all the things that he wanted Thickendales to be. And we're going to, of course, have mentorship, and we're going to do this and be able to, of course, help people who may want to transition out of dancing at some point and all this stuff. That shit never picked the fuck up. What we did from basically, I think, June till about October is dance in a hole in the wall. Literally a hole in the wall. Like, first of all, we already some big bitches. Okay? You have us sectioned off in this space where it's already tight. So that the space that we're at, I guess you got a good deal for it. And on top of the fact, it's not too far from where you stay at. Versus most of your dancers, including myself, we're in fucking Fulton, we in Gwinnett, we in motherfucking DeKalb for that matter, like, oh shit, Clayton for that. Like, we're in all these other places, and instead of you trying to say, you know what, let me go over here and find a spot that is, one, the floor can be clean. Two, we have an actual dressing room and not just a damn Japanese divider. No offense, of course, for the ones who do. But when you look at all of these bodies that you're trying to have and you have only but this much of fucking space, at that point, you don't give a fuck about us. You just want to be able to, of course, say you did a thing. And you're not looking at the rest of the logistics and the back end work. You just worried about what it looks like on the fucking front. And again, that had the potential to be something really amazing. And you're putting off your responsibilities as the creator on someone else while you go take fucking vacations and such. But again, you ain't even got your business off the ground good for you to be doing all this shit so early within the first fucking year. Like, a lot of that shit. Then of course I was a part of this other organization and had to leave because I realized, yep, run into the same situation. It's all bark but no bite, first of all. It's you telling one person one thing but really doing another. You telling one person you did a thing when in actuality this is what you did, so now we're lying. It's having to rebrand when you just started your brand. So why is you pulling up P Valley opening when you ain't even got your business off the ground good in the first year and a half? Smoke and mirrors. Smoke and mirrors. Still going back to the fact that I just want to be the person that says, I did it first and I made this happen and I had the idea and I'm this and I'm wow. Let me tell you something. A person that has an idea, that shit only goes but so far, especially when you're dealing with something that is to connect with other human beings. Meaning, we're not pieces of candy, we're not bags of chips, we're not furniture, we're not trophies. We're literally fucking human beings. And because we're human beings, we have feelings, we have ways of doing things, and we like to feel appreciated, regardless of whatever role we may play in the said idea that you have. Because in order for this idea to grow and be what you envision it to be, you have to have people in it. You have to have people a part of it, whether it's on the back end or, of course, on the front end. And when you talk to people like you ain't got no motherfucking sense, that's when you start losing the people. But the other issue goes back to what I mentioned in the first story that I experienced. When you are so far gone in your own ass that you don't realize that you are the reason why people don't want to fuck with you, Thus, the only way people connect with you is if you put on a showcase, meaning they willingly wouldn't fuck with you outside of said showcases. That's when eh, eh, there's a little bit of an issue there. So, red flags to pay attention to. Okay? Please understand why this conversation even matters is because there's a situation where people will create a idea with no structure. They just really winging that shit. Everything's a vibe, but no plans. I would have more discernment when it comes to an opportunity that is either presented to you or you happen to, of course, come across it and you're like, huh, I want to see what this is about. Do not take things off face value immediately. Ask more questions. Really hear what the people are saying. Really take in consideration this persona that they may be putting on that's like, oh, it's going to be this and that, and the third, and do some research. Do some research from a perspective of, okay, maybe not jump on it immediately. Let me just have to take a step back and just kind of see how things can pan out, especially when it's brand new. And the reason being is because people love to be able to get people to jump right on when everything is fresh. Whereas if you have at least tried to build on this wonderful idea of this community that you're wanting to, of course, make happen, let's see what you look like on foot. Let's see what you look like word of mouth. Let's see what you look like when it comes down to your own marketing. Let's see you do that first before you start adding people on to basically do this shit for you when there's no receipts that says that this shit's going to be fucking successful. Now, of course, you do have those situations where for most people, it is seeing is believing because they rather see this shit actually go through and be what the fuck you say it's going to be rather than to jump on some shit that actually I was okay with not being a part of altogether. When it comes to seeing and believing, from some situations, yeah, of course you take that risk and decide, okay, I'm gonna see what it's do. Investors do it all the fucking time. Of course, they're gonna have contracts in place, like, hey, it's a return on my investment. I need to see, of course, some numbers move, this, that, and the third. But in order for them to do that, they at least have to have, of course, some type of portfolio of what your revenue's looking like, what you project is going to be happening the next year, what money you've been bringing in, what the connections you've been doing, whatever the case being, even with investors. So when it comes to just simply want to be a part of an organization of whatever sort through IG, through brand ambassador, through influencer packages, whatever the case being, make sure you're giving people something that has value to it. If you can't give them that, leave people the fuck alone. If you can't make their time worthwhile connecting with you on whatever capacity that is, leave folks alone. One thing I do not do is if there's a situation where I say have somebody that I want to do some type of a collab with, I'm not trying to go in people's inboxes and their DMs with nothing that I can be able to offer. If I don't have nothing to offer you, I don't want to waste your fucking time. That's the type of shit that I'm on. I try my best to give something because if I can't give something, then hey, let me step my ass over here, do a couple push-ups, come back and give something a little bit more better presenting so that they see that hey, I really would like this collaboration and this is why I want to make it worth your while. When people have a tendency to see this aura in you that you may not see in yourself, they know they can get that shit for a discount. Because if you don't know yourself in that way to know, hey, I won't tolerate this. Oh, no, bitch, you can't talk to me this way. Oh, no, we're not going to handle this way. You're going to be privy to any and everything and just trying to be easygoing. Because, hey, I'm a part of this thing and I'm part of this network. Well, I'm part of course, this club and everything is supposed to be going well. And boo, 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 boo. Only to find out that they just really rely on your skills, and the fact that you don't know better is because more than likely they ain't got no damn skills, and the fact that you don't understand the value in yourself, Thus, they can just swing you whatever direction because you still gonna rock with them anyway. You know what? If a person is able to take advantage of you, why would they be careful in how they take advantage of you? That's like, okay, I'm gonna take advantage of this shit, but not too much. No, they're gonna go full fucking throttle if they know they can run with the shit, right? One thing I had to learn for sure is kind of goes back to that whole saying, never meet your idol. Now, I'm not gonna say that people I've come across, all of them, not all of them, have been my idol, but I really wish I only knew them at this line before it got crossed. Because now I have this perception of them that I can't unsee. I now have this view of them that lets me know you was full of shit from the get-go, but you put on this front like you weren't, and here we are. It's insane. It hits. It hits because it's been people that I have seen, particularly in the pole world, in the dance world, that I'm just like, oh my God, they're so amazing, and this, that, and the third. And whether I've met them in person or not, I probably have built a rapport with them, in whatever capacity, a parasocial connection, of course. And kind of find out they may be a great dancer, but they suck as a person. They suck in business. They suck when it comes to accountability. Oh my motherfucking God. Like, it's really on some lack of emotional intelligence, for real, for real. And in addition to lack of structure to really build camaraderie, to really build communities type shit. And it really kind of makes you be like, damn, I don't want to be this person. Let me make sure I check myself. That's the type of shit I do. That I am making sure I'm building genuine connections with people. That I am, you know, making sure that, hey, I support what you do. And I don't have to get anything from you to do that. I can share, I can comment, I can highlight you in a way of like, oh my God, this is my favorite person right now. She is so amazing at what she does and what he does and this, that, and the third. And just be that genuine support person. I will say, I feel, and this is me self-proclaiming this, I feel like I am definitely the Taraji P. Henson of support when it comes to motherfucker. I don't have to be winning for you to be winning. And just because you winning doesn't mean that I have to be winning. So therefore, if I am in this place of, life is in shambles, I'm in my imposter syndrome place, I ain't feeling my best. But if I see a motherfucker that is doing amazingly, that I see as just great overall, baby, I'm clapping. I'm doing all the claps. I'm doing all the goddamn yes, bitch. Because I genuinely love seeing people be wonderful. I genuinely love seeing people be amazing. I genuinely love seeing people pop their shit, especially when I have conversation with motherfuckers on a weekly that be like, damn, I ain't think I really did this great, or, I hope I do okay. Because I do the shit too. But it all goes back to perception of self. Like, you may see, of course, that you're not the best, but I see greatness in everything that you do. And that's not blowing no smoke up nobody's ass. I don't need to do all that. I got too much ass to be blowing smoke my damn self on me. So I'm not gonna do it on nobody else. So I generally fuck with people just because. But because I fuck with you, not just because of I have lush escapades, or because I teach somewhere, or because I do all these things. I've always been that person that if you fuck with me, I fuck with you. And that's on a business tip or not. That's on a personal tip or not. And that's just what that is. And this is where you having that type of authenticity to run these organizations and these communities and such, and not just for your own personal selfish gain, that sets you apart. That really says she's really for the shit that she be talking about. She really about that life. She really stands 10 toes down when it comes to the things that she's about. That's my whole shebang for real. So, other things to be able to look out for. Some deliverables. Deliverables from a place of, okay, what have they done in the past that really holds weight in the field that they're trying to build community on? If they give you some story that ain't got nothing to do with where this is going, yeah, do some more research. Do some more research. Long-term plans and goals for their organization. Like, how involved do you plan on being in your creation? Do you want people to be the face of it? For some situations that may be the case. For some, it is a little concerning because it's like, why you can't be the face of it? It's your shit. But if you're not, okay, so what do you have in place for someone else to, of course, do that? What are you doing for their time? Is there some type of compensation? Is it understood that it's not compensation, but hey, maybe we can renegotiate whatever said contract you may have in mind, because contracts need to be in place. That when money, of course, comes into this organization on whatever profitable grounds, we can be able to say, hey, I can now, of course, pay this wage to you for your time and for whatever task that you have, for whatever position you're in, or whatever the case be. Clarity on your role. Clarity in what role do you play? Are you a person that is mentoring? Are you a person that is basically like a street runner? Are you a person that is able to get sponsorships? Are you a person that does advertisements and such? Or is there specific advertisements that you need to be able to do? Have them have where they know exactly what it is that your job is. And bitch, if it ain't part of my description, don't ask me to do nothing motherfucking else. Unless we done had a conversation and said, hey, this is what I need you to do. Watch how they talk to people. People be real quick to just talk to folks and just think, oh, okay, well, this is fine. But let you run that same energy to them. Oh my God. Oh, why you did this? That passive aggressive shit, pay attention to that as well. Because you do have some people that either trauma dump or have this way of talking with you that you're just supposed to just type the shit and you just send back like questioning yourself when you shouldn't have to. And it's really putting you in that place of, yeah, I'm gonna have to exit left because you got me fucked up. So again, business creators that cross that way of how they handle things on a personal level in their business, 9 times out of 10 usually goes wrong. Because what's gonna end up happening, people gonna start ghosting you, start leaving without mentioning why, and now you gotta get a whole new ramp of people to appear as if everything is going great. Anyway, learning, if you happen to be in these situations, learning when to exit. Now, if you exit quietly or you exit and flip over a table or two, that's going to be on you. But learning when to exit. If all of those things that I mentioned happen in any capacity and some uncomfortable truth starts showing up that is making you have to realize, yeah, this was probably not the best decision, or conversations that are being had that are not great, or not being had because we are so busy that we can't make sure that this is picking up off the ground great, but we want to appear to the world like everything is cool and it's not. Leave and do what you need to do. And the reason being is because I would hate for anyone to be a part of anything where they're not feeling seen and not feeling valued. They're being communicated in a way that is very uncomfortable, very offensive. It just puts a very damp situation where you really wish you wouldn't have crossed that line with them on that level of business. Send a proper exit note and leave accordingly. If you have to leave kicking and screaming, okay, that's on you. I don't advise it, but hey, that's perfectly fine. Even for me and being a part of these things that I've been connected with and people, it has made me be very weary of wanting to be a part of anyone else's um, newfound thing. I have literally been pondering on a few projects that people are either doing or being really, really great at and all the things. And it's to the point where it's like, you know what? To avoid that fear of running into another situation where either my talents are not being truly valued or I'm just kind of being beaten around the bush with where this set thing can go. Let me just stay over here in my lane where I'm not bothering nobody, nobody's bothering me, and grow from there. And whatever I get out of it is because of what the fuck I put into it and not based off what someone else feels like I should deserve in connection to them. And all the things, of course, that I make happen within my position. So, whew, I tell you, speaking the goddamn truth, my truth, mind you, it's exhausting. It's exhausting from a place of still pondering on this idea of, well, this happened, but you know, I can kind of handle it quietly and dealing with the mental thought process of, did I make the right decision leaving? Did I, move prematurely? Did I make the right decision getting into this in the first place? Which clearly I didn't because I'm already questioning it. Stuff's getting out. Why didn't I pay attention to the signs before? How did this take place under my nose and I not realize, damn, this person was full of shit from the beginning. And I wanted to believe them so bad that I really needed to take a step back and be like, no, let me ponder and just kind of see how this pans out. A lot of those thought processes, but I'm here to say trial and error exists for a reason, but it always goes back to building up that discernment, building up that armor of vetting. Because sometimes people be slipping through the cracks. So I've had that happen still. Like you check all the boxes off to make sure you did the things, and something still takes place. I'm like, damn, I ain't catch on to that. It does happen. I'm not gonna shit you, but do not be a complete naive, gullible ass like I was to some people's glamour ideas and such. So I can definitely say that much for sure. The delusionment hits very hard. I say delusion from a perspective of people feeling like I can just throw whatever idea in their mind, I can spit whatever bullshit game, and they gonna run with it because it's me. And the same reason why you wanted them to be a part of your organization. Again, they're intelligent, they pay attention to detail, they know how to, of course, build these conversations and rapport with other people. You don't think that they're going to use that same logic and realize, I'm paying attention to the details of what's happening, what I'm being told, and what's actually being said that's not added together. The people that I want to connect with this said organization, they're looking at it from their scope and saying, I don't think I want to be a part of it, but they're not telling me why until I find out later on. Or the lack of communication, which is what got you in to begin with, the communication. Now all of a sudden, we don't have time. Now it's, oh, of course, I can't really get to this right now. But you want to have a business. You want to have this big major thing that people want to be a part of. And you're not even making the time to really see it grow to be successful, grow to be something that people really want to be a part of, grow in a place that is genuine and not to appear as if you're trying to keep up with the Joneses business wise because you see other people doing the things and being successful at it. And so now you want to jump and do what they're doing, but you ain't put the same time and effort the way that they did. So, in closing, do not have these people playing on your top when it comes down to the things that they want you to be a part of without getting all the full details of what you're supposed to be signing up for. Because that shit is important. It saves you a fucking headache. It can save you some money. It can save you some body aches. It can just save you a whole heap of shit. And probably a therapy bill too. Or three. I don't know. But definitely be safe out here. People be funny. That's all I really can say. And because people be funny, I need you to have the last laugh. Alright? So that is all for tonight. As always, definitely make sure that you follow me on Instagram. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, Jaded and Faded Flows. But of course, I have my Convos post up there as well. On YouTube, which is also Jaded and Faded Flows. These will be on there as well. And on Spotify, which is definitely Jaded and Faded Convos. As always, I appreciate you for taking the time to listen to little old me. And I hope that you are enjoying what you heard and hopefully you learning from it or getting a insight that you didn't know you needed to have for yourself or on me for that matter. And your girl done seen a lot and has been a part of a lot of stuff. And I am definitely at that place where now I want to make sure people really, really know of these different things because all I ever want to do, of course, is help the next person. Somebody helped me in some way, and then some stuff I had to learn on my own. So to avoid a person having to go through at least half of the stuff I've been through, this is why I do this. So, as always, I am your host, Jada LaPearl, and this is Jaded and Faded Convos. Be easy.